Hey there, Wellspring Bible Fellowship. Pastor Bryan here. Charles Spurgeon tells the story of a man, a blasphemer, a profane atheist who ended up being converted because of a singular sinful action on his part. He had written on a piece of paper, "God is nowhere." And then wanting to make his child an atheist as well, he ordered his child to read what he had written on the paper. And the child spelled it back, "God is N-O-W, now, H-E-R-E, here." Not God is nowhere, but God is now here. And it was the truth in the place of the lie. And that arrow pierced the man's heart. The truth that God is everywhere, even now here. This is what we call God's omnipresence. Omni, again, the Latin all present. God, just as he is unlimited and infinite in respect to time and knowledge and power, so God is unlimited with respect to space. Okay? Wayne Grudem defines the omnipresence of God this way. God does not have size or spatial limitations and is present at every point of space with his whole being. Yet God acts differently in different places. So let's talk about that definition for a moment and see what it means for you and me today. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The fact that God is Lord of space and can't be limited by space is evident from the fact that he created space. It's part of the material world that he created in the beginning. Jeremiah 23 verse 23, "Am I God at hand, declares the Lord, and not a God far away? Can a man hide himself in the secret places so that I cannot see him, declares the Lord? Do I not fill heaven and earth, declares the Lord?" Or as David so beautifully puts it in Psalm 139, one of my favorites, he says, Psalm 139 verse 7, "Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me and your right hand shall hold me." So you can run from God, you can mock him, disbelieve him, impugn, ignore, spurn, and blaspheme him, but ultimately you cannot avoid him. He is inescapable, unavoidable. As one preacher said, a man may hide God from himself, and yet he cannot hide himself from God. Now here's an encouraging reality. In the words of Martin Lloyd-Jones, he says, this is the fundamental thing, this is the most serious thing of all, that we are always in the presence of God. Wow. I mean, know that right now, God is not far from you. He is near to you. Even if he feels far, he is present. Now, what a sad fact it is that we can't realize this, right? Like, what a sad testimony it is to the devastating effects of sin on the world and on our own hearts and minds, that God is everywhere, and yet we have to school ourselves to perceive him anywhere. But this is the glorious work of the Spirit of God and those who have been born again, that God has made us alive to him in his presence again, that we can now grow daily in the recognition and enjoyment of his presence, the God who is omnipresent. And be encouraged that it's not as if only a part of God is here and there and he kind of spreads himself thin throughout the rest of the world, the universe. No. He is everywhere present with his whole being. All of the goodness of God, the power of God, the holiness of God, the beauty of God, the love of God is present with you now. And through Christ, you are his child. If you have repented and trusted in him as Lord and Savior, he is with you. Enjoy the presence of God today. And don't doubt it. Even if he feels far away, like he is the God who is nowhere, be assured he is the God who is now here. May the Lord be with you, Wellspring.